Chapter 18, Kaylee. Richard, won't be there today. There's more money in your account. I'm not the least bit surprised. Richard, my father, will be a no-show again. I could count the times he's come to see us since moving out on one finger. One I'd like to show him for abandoning Sarah and me with Mary, our egg donor. He was never around before the divorce, but then he was financing all of Mary's whims, so she wasn't a problem. And now he's cut her off other than what he has to pay for child support. The only thing that money is supporting is Mary's alcohol habit, and it's apparently not enough to support her former social life. She was kicked out of the country club after Richard stopped paying for her membership. She caused a scene and was asked to leave. That lost her the rest of her friends. Mary has replaced the void of her social life with dates from randos she meets online and alcohol. Lots and lots of alcohol. She's always been self-absorbed and would make the occasional offhanded catty comment, but now she's a terror to live with. The alcohol makes her mean, and she's already catty and bitter to begin with. I try to minimize mine and Sarah's time at home so we don't have to be around her. This last year has shown me to be careful what you wish for. Before, our parents were never home and our house was always empty. Now, Mary's there all the time and it's awful. It makes me long for when she was never home. I shake off the thoughts of my absentee parents and focus on the present, where sectionals have ended. I guess I zoned out for longer than I thought because Drew has already put his instrument away and there's no sign of him. I'll have to wait until tomorrow to get all the details on Lynn stopping by his locker and walking him to class. He can complain all he wants about me casting him as a girl in my mental rom-com, but the popular jock leaning against the locker acting like they're God's gift to high school couldn't be more textbook main male character energy. If Drew wants to be cast across from Lynn, he's going to have to accept the part of leading lady. You ready to head out? Sarah appears next to me as I put my horn up. Yeah, just give me a minute. Where do you want to grab food from? Can we go to the house? Sarah plays with the straps of her backpack to hide some of her anxiety. We don't have time. Remember, James moved band practice to today instead of Thursday. We only have about 30 minutes to get food and be at Connor's studio. I grab my bag and head towards the door. I'm thankful I can skate over some of the stuff with our parents with a different reason we can't head straight home. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Why do you have to move it again? Sarah follows me to the van and loads up while I try to calm the emotions raging inside me at the answer to her question. He has a personal thing on Thursday. Don't feed into his prima donna attitude by wondering about it. I put the van in drive as the real answer to her question cuts into my chest. James has a date Thursday. A date supposedly so important that he needed to move our practice schedule around to accommodate it. It still hurts just to think about it, and it makes me feel stupid that I gave James the power to hurt me. Nothing about his past behavior made him look like a good person to place my trust in. But he was there as my world started falling apart, and I foolishly thought he'd realize I was more than a bit of fun to him. Wendy's? Sarah's suggestion pulls me out of my own head and the emo road it was headed down. She must be picking up on my mood because Wendy's is my favorite restaurant, not hers. Sounds good. I spend the rest of the ride asking her about her day and trying to pick up all the slack our parents have left with raising her. After a quick stop by Wendy's, I pull into our driveway. Mary's car is here, and I'm glad we aren't going inside right now. Leave your school stuff in here. We're late as it is. I spare a quick glance at the dash that confirms it's after 5:30. Oh well. It's more than fair for us to inconvenience James a little after everything he's done. I feel a little bad for potentially wasting Connor's time, but he's the one who's best friends with a jerk, so he can just get over it. Connor's a junior like me. James, our lead guitarist and resident jerkwad, is a senior. We created our band, Outnumbered by Hysteria, a few years ago. We used to practice in my garage because it was always empty like the rest of the house. Connor's our neighbor, and his parents built us a small studio to practice in a couple years ago. I don't know if it's because they're that supportive or because they just don't want to be able to hear us practice. Either way, I've been extra thankful for it since the divorce. Connor is finishing setting up everything when we walk in. James is plastered to some groupie on the couch. Great. Just great. I thought your date was Thursday and that's why we needed to practice today, I asked loudly, startling the two lovebirds apart. James shoots me a glare. There's no way he's more displeased with this situation than I am. Date. You told me you didn't date. The girl straightens her top as she gives James a confused look. I don't. Kaylee doesn't know what she's talking about. James leans back in like he's going to end this conversation by distracting this airhead with kisses. Oh, so this text saying you have an important date with a special girl is supposed to mean something else? I take my phone out like I'm going to pull the text up. The random girl slaps James and calls him a few colorful names before storming out. I'm still not sorry. If it were me, I would have decked him. Thanks for that. James stretches out his jaw as he slouches over to his guitar. By the way, jealous doesn't look good on you. I roll my eyes. You moved our schedule around. I'm just here for band practice, not your drama. James comes way too close to me. I seem to remember you liking my drama and all the perks that come with it. He whispers in my ear before finally going to his spot. Thankfully, we focus on the music for the rest of practice. I'm able to get lost in singing, and I'm reminded why I love this so much, even if it means putting up with James's crap. James gets a call right at the end of practice, and I get to avoid any further scenes with him as he leaves to handle whatever. Hey, are you okay? Connor asks after James has left. I'm fine. There's nothing to report to your bestie. I help him with putting everything away. You're my friend too. That's why I tried to warn you about James. I don't need babying, and I don't need help. I'm fine. Connor raises his hands in surrender and lets the topic drop. Sarah and I stop by the van to get our school stuff before heading into our house. Sometime during practice, Mary left. I can only hope we have a quiet night and she stays gone until bedtime. Do you want to talk about whatever that was with James earlier? Sarah asks once we're inside and upstairs where our rooms are. Nothing to talk about. We're over for good this time. He's still a womanizing jerk. I don't want that interfering with band practice. She opens her mouth, probably to push the topic, but I've had enough of James tonight. Being around him, thinking about him, and talking about him. I'm good, I promise, but I do have an English paper I need to work on. Sarah nods and heads into her room. I sit at my desk. I know I should start on my homework, but instead I pull my songwriting journal out.